Hello my friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today Brenna and I are up here at the chicken coop. I did have a plan going, and then the sun came out and then some other things happened. So you know what? We're going to pivot today. We're just going to change things up. So what we're going to do is I am going to replant one of my hanging baskets up here at the chicken coop. It's sad. It's the middle of August in North Carolina. The heat and the humidity, it's getting to the plants, it's getting to Jenny, it's just getting to everybody. And so I am going to refresh one of my hanging baskets. I was going to do two, but now I'm only going to do one. I'll explain why I'm only going to do one. And then we're going to do a quick little kind of garden tour up here to give you an update on how things are progressing, because this garden is really just a year old and things are doing really well. And so I wanted to kind of give you an update on that and give you some tips for gardening in August, especially in the heat, the humidity, and life. So you know how I am about full disclosure, right? So as I flip the camera around, you can see that the sun is out. Jenny is standing in the shade. This morning, I dare say it was a little bit drier. Of course, North Carolina is infamous for the humidity, especially in August. And I was able to be outside for about an hour and a half and not drop a sweat. Isn't that fantastic? Of course, I was enjoying and taking my time out. You know, I knew that I was going to do this project. I was just enjoying my time outside. And then I get ready to film and the sun comes out. And I'm like, my people with humidity, you understand. You get to a point in the season and you're tired of sweating. I am at that point. So this is what we're going to do. One, we're going to do that hanging basket. It is a full sun hanging basket, but we're not going to plant it in the full sun. And no, we're not. We're going to stand right here in the shade and do it in the shade. Then we'll move it to the full sun. So let's talk about that first and why I am not doing both hanging baskets. And then we'll get it all potted up and then we'll do a quick little garden tour. All right, so if you remember back in the spring, I put out two fun new hanging baskets here at the chicken coop area. If you are a good student of Creekside, Gardening with Creekside, you'll notice that this is not the container that was here, right? This is a gorgeous metal, kind of a coppery colored container. Nice big size. I mean, this is a big one. She does have a drain hole, of course, and so this container is the one we're going to pot up in the full sun. But that one was actually over here on this tree, so I flip-flopped them. The cone is from Kinsman Garden Company. They were sweet enough to send it to me, and it was over there on the chicken coop. Now this one I am not going to plant because it's too low. The hook kind of got bent and this basket is just hanging way too low for me. So I need to switch things up. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this, but I'm just going to hold off on that one for right now. And I don't know that I really want a hanging basket here, because typically what I was planting here was going to be a shade hanging basket, and that's what the other one was. And because we've lost some trees in the storm in May, this gets more sun than what I want it to. So I really need to move the basket into more of the shade garden. And I just don't have the energy for that, y'all, today. So it's just going to hang out right here and we're going to ignore that. Now, the hanging basket that is on the side of the chicken coop is going to be full sun, right? So it is in full sun all day long. So what we're going to plant in that, we're going to do something different. We're going to switch it up, my friends. I am going to plant a Mangave. Yes, that is right. So I have night owl right here. Mangaves are a fun, relatively, you know, in historical plant world here, relatively a new plant on the market. So what it is, and we've talked about these many times before, but Mangaves are a cross between an agave and a manfreda. So you get a Mangave. They look like agaves in the fact of they have that succulent feel to them. Some of them are a little pricklier than others, but with that manfreda part, you get a lot of different colors in them, and they actually like water. So you kind of treat it like a hosta, like how you would water a hosta. The more you water it, the bigger they get. Night owl is going to be fun because it really only maxes out at 8 inches, which is right where it is right now, but it gets nice and wide. Depending on your Mangave, because there are, Proven Winners has a whole different line of them. Depending on the particular cultivar, it will be, typically they're going to be more annuals than they are perennials, unless you live in like a really warm area. Then it'll be a perennial for you. What I plan on doing is when the frost freeze is starting to loom at my door, which come frost come. When that starts to happen, what I will do is actually repot it into a container and then move it and use it as a house plant. So either I will put it in the house or I will put it in one of the greenhouses or the annex or somewhere where it is protected. So historically, Mangaves are going to be annuals unless you live in those really warm areas, and then you can leave it out. But what is so fun too about the Mangaves is because they do like the water, more water than an agave would, you can plant annuals with it. So you can put super bells and super petunias and all sorts of other things with it to really kind of create this really cool container. What I'm doing is I'm going to use some portulaca. You know me, I've been raiding the greenhouse. We're at the end of the season. So I am going to use this portulaca. This is the Mojave fuchsia. And so we're going to use that. I've got 3 of them. So basically the night owl is going to be in the center, and then we're going to have 3 of the portulacas around it. I went ahead and went with this beautiful fuchsia because remember where this is going to go is right here on the edge of the coop, and then I've got my color here, right? So I have got my hot pink, the rose Sunstar Pentas right here. I have got orange, I have got the mini Vista Indigo. All of that is going on right here. So that nice, fun, hot color will be perfect. So I'm getting out of the sun, I'm going to the shade. We're going to pot this up and show you how I'm going to do it, and then we'll do a tour of the garden because there's a lot going on right now. Okay, my friends, so yes, I literally put myself in the middle of the woods because this is nice and shady in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pot this up. Now, if you have been with me for any length of time and you have seen me plant a container, then you know that I have a certain method for how I plant my containers. Does not matter if it's a hanging basket, if it's a container that sits on the ground, if it's one that sits on my front porch, if it's a hay rack, it does not matter. My raised deck boxes, this is the method that I use, and it has worked really well for me. So what we do is we take a bag of compost. Now, we like the Land and Sea. That's what we use. Works really great. Put a layer of compost in the bottom of the container. Typically about a third. If you look at the container and you divide it by, the thirds, the bottom third should be with the compost. So what this does is it helps retain the moisture. It is another layer of food for the plants when their roots hit that section, right? So we're retaining moisture and we are feeding the plants. Then what we're going to do is we come in with your great high quality potting soil. Now, I personally, the only stuff that I use is the Proven Winners potting soil. We sell it here at the nursery, so I can easily get it, obviously, because we have it here at the nursery. I know that for some people, it's really hard for you to find. So, whatever your preferred potting soil is, use that. If you're not sure, if you're new to gardening and you can't have quite figured it out yet, one, go to your local garden center. Ask them. Ask what really works in the containers where you live. If you don't have a good local garden center, right? Because I hear that all the time. They're like, all I have is like big box stores. So what do I do? Well, what I want you to do is do a little experiment on your own. So I want you to buy a bag of whatever potting soil is available to you. I will say you're going to get what you pay for, people, okay? So if that bag is $2, then you're going to get $2 worth of terribleness. If it's a little bit more pricey, odds are it's going to be a better quality potting soil. So get a bag of each, do an experiment. Plant one container in this, one container in that, one container in this one. Try it out. see how you like it. So you've got to be a student of your own garden and your own region and kind of figure that out for yourselves, because not only do we have people, you know, obviously who live right close to us and they can come get this Proven Winners potting soil. We have viewers that live on the other side of the country that maybe can or cannot get this, but we also have folks that live on the other side of the world. So visit your local garden center, find out what works for you, and be a student of your own garden. So all I did was put the potting soil in there and then Biotone. Biotone starter fertilizer. This is literally what it says it is. It is the fertilizer that is great to start out your plants with. So it is really great for developing strong root system, which we want. And so I just take some, and then I just take my hand and I just kind of zhuzh it around, as I say, and put it in there. So the idea is that we're going to put the night owl in the middle, and then there are 3 rings where the chains hook to this. So I'm going to put a portulaca in the center of each ring, and that way I can have them evenly spread out. So here we go. All right, so that went out pretty easily. So what we're going to do is a little trick here, because mangaves can be a little prickly. What we're going to do is we took it out of the pot. I'm going to put this down, the plant off to the ground, off to the side. Take my pot and literally like bury the pot in the container, pack soil all around it. Then I'm going to gently lift this Proven Winner pot out and then slip the plant inside of it. So that way it makes it a little bit easier and I don't get pricked. So that's a great little tip. And we're going to do our absolute best to center Night Owl in this container. I think I'll go ahead and do my portulacas the same way. Whenever I am creating a container, I always do this too. I always come back and top dress with more compost because, again, retains moisture, so you're not having to be out here watering it 400 times a day. It's going to go ahead and give some more nice slow release of food to the plants, because compost is a great way to naturally feed your plants over a nice slow time, and then makes it look pretty. Last but not least, it's very important, but it makes it look pretty. So I am literally doing this. So I have completely planted the container so that when I pull these pots out and I put the plants in, then I'm done. All I have to do is go hang it up and water it. I'm not going to be fighting that mangave and getting pricked or breaking a portulaca or what have you. Now, I am going to, as my furry assistant likes to stand in front of the camera, she's quite the camera hog. All right, down. Brenna, down. Not on the plants. Down. Okay, good girl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the portulacas first, so that way if the mangave kind of overhangs them a little bit, we'll be fine. So all you got to do is just gently pull your container out, and then you've got the perfect hole to slip that portulaca in. It works like a charm. Now, if you find that your potting soil is extremely dry, you might have a little bit of problems with this, so you probably want to give it some water ahead of time, because you want that soil to be able to compact and around the containers. So if it's super dry, it's probably just going to kind of fall in on you. So just give it a little Give it a little drink of water. Look at that. All right. And all I'm doing is just making sure that the soil is nice up around the roots. Just kind of snugging it in, right? Pretend like you're putting the babies to bed. Snug them in under the covers, right? And then we're gonna come up in the center. Give it a little zhuzhy. Kind of twist it just a little bit. And haha, here we go. I had one little wall collapse, so I'll pull that out. Grab Night Owl. Now, this is not what I would call root bound, but I am gonna go ahead and kind of coax the roots just a little bit here. Right, I'm not gonna go in there and destroy it. The portulacas were fine. It's gonna go in here like that. We're done. Megan's home, so my alarm's going off, AKA Brenna. Yeah. All right, my friends, look at that. There you go. Now, sometimes your Mangave, the lower outside leaves will get a little damaged. So what I would recommend is just go ahead and cut them off. It's fine. And I'm actually going to use my box blade on this as opposed to my clippers. I mean, you certainly could, but it's longer and skinnier and very sharp and gets right in there. I do recommend whenever you're working with your Mangaves, use your gloves because you could get pricked. It's not horrible, y'all. It's just, they're just a little pokey, that's all. So just go in there, and I just took out just a couple of them with the razor blade and just slit them, they'll be fine. That's another great thing about the Mangaves. They are really quick, fast growers as compared to like a Mangave. They are a much faster grower. So I've got all the 3 portulacas in. I got Night Owl in. Night Owl is actually going to darken up and get a lot more coloration once it gets out in the full UV light. This was part of Jenny's stash in the pines, and so it's been under some filtered sun and hasn't gotten that full sun that it really needs. Your Mangaves need the full sun to get that beautiful color. So she's going to change a lot in the next probably week, 2 weeks, get some nice, really good color on it. And then of course the portulacas are just going to be so happy to get out of those little grande containers and into a nice bigger container. So now I get to have the pleasure of hanging this up all by myself. We can do it. We can do hard things. All right, my guys, so the hanging basket, she's all up. Wasn't horrible to hang up, but I got it done. So it is nice and hung, and it is got watered, and you can see probably that it is draining. So this will be fun to watch this one grow and develop. I mean, I will not have to bring this in until probably November. So I have got, you know, 2.5 good months for these babies to grow, and it's going to be really fun to watch them grow and develop. I've never done a Mangave in a hanging basket before, but I think it's fun and I love it. Now, I want to head over here real quick to the El Nino. So El Nino, first of all, loves the heat and humidity. It is a very heat-loving shrub, small tree. And this is relatively new from Proven Winners. Y'all, last year, so not even 15 months ago, I planted this as a 1-gallon container. 1 gallon. Look at it. It is every bit of probably 8 feet tall right now. It was blooming. We're getting some sunshine, so I should be getting some more blooms here because of course we've been in so much rain. But this is such a fun tree. It's called also a desert orchid, so nice pretty pink flowers. But I was up here yesterday and I discovered that I had some caterpillars munching on my El Nino. So I'm going to try to show you if you can see how those leaves are just almost like completely annihilated, like they are gone. Now, great way to figure out, is this a caterpillar? I don't know if the camera will show this, but there is caterpillar poop right here. Little tiny little black balls. That is a sure sign between the little black balls and then missing leaves that you have got a caterpillar. So there is one right here. We'll see if it picks up on it, but this is a Catalina Sphinx yeah, Catalina sphinx caterpillar. It turns into a moth. They love these trees. So, while, yes, I enjoy my caterpillars, I do not want it to completely defoliate my El Nino, because yesterday I came through with my BT spray and there was probably, y'all, I'm not joking, there was probably 30 caterpillars on this one limb. So what I have is the ready to use Fertilome caterpillar killer with BT. This is a great biological insecticide that is for organic gardening. It will not hurt anything else except for caterpillars. And so all you gotta do is, hang on, let me get my container ready. So all you gotta do is just get it ready. So you just have to flip it around. It's already pumped and primed. So, and spray. Boom, there you go. So that's the only one I see. I am just gonna kind of go ahead and hit, oop, there's another one, doop, right here. And so this is safe for all the other little critters in your life. It's not gonna hurt it. It only affects the caterpillars. And so, yep, we are getting rid of it. That is what I love. Sorry, y'all. Making sure we get him. Because with the BT, you've got to make sure you have direct contact. So this is not a systemic. It will not, the plant will not suck it up. So you've just got to spray directly onto the caterpillars to go ahead and get rid of it. So I sprayed it 24 hours ago and they're already gone. So there you go, relatively quick work on it. And so we've got that. So I love having the ready maize because I literally could just go grab it and spray it and move on. So there you go on that. Now let's do a quick little update on how everything is going. The annuals here in front of the run, in front of the girls, quite prolific. The petunias probably could use a little bit of water-soluble fertilizer, but let's just be honest, this time of the year, you're on your own, kid. The lantanas, the pentas, they're doing great. The grasses are loving life. The basil, I'm telling you, y'all, if you're not using basil just as a filler in your garden, you need to. So there's one here, and then there's one here. This is the Amazel basil. So you absolutely can come in here and just cut it. It makes great pesto. It is a great culinary basil. So before the frost hits, come take advantage and use all of your pesto, your Amazel basil. Yeah, y'all, it's hot. I'm tired. My brain's not working. Okay, so here we go. It looks good. Bottom line, it looks nice. You will see that I have some chicken wire cloaks all over the place. That is because the bunnies were absolutely having a buffet on my Echinacea and Rudbeckia. The Heliopsis, I planted the Heliopsis, the golden, Tuscan golden, at the same time of the Echinacea and Rudbeckia, and they did not touch the Tuscan gold. But you can see, like I've lost one Rudbeckia because they just ate it to the ground. I couldn't get the cloaks in time. But they are slowly coming back. So it is working. And we're getting some good growth back on them. I got these from Gardener's Supply. You can get just the cloak, or you can get the cloak with an extender. So if you have taller plants, then that works well on those. But yeah, I'm having to keep just a physical barrier on those guys so that the bunnies will not eat them. The Cascade, this is Violet Cascade. She's doing well. We've got a beautiful swallowtail on there, and I've only deadheaded her one time. So love this butterfly bush. And then come on over, look how well the grasses are doing. So this is the Apache rose grass. So a beautiful perennial grass, getting some height on it. You'll notice that this one is smaller. You wanna guess why that one's smaller? Yep, the bunnies decided to eat that one too right after I planted it. So she's a little behind, but now that she's got some height on her, the bunnies have left her alone. So the Apache roses are doing really well. They were even eating my Achillea. So I had to, we'll go up there. I had to cover those as well and just annihilating them. This bed, you know, is relatively new, right? So again, less than a year old. I've got pufferfish in here. For the first year, they're alive. I'm happy. None of this is on irrigation, so we're very happy about that. Y'all, these abelias, these are mucho gusto. I love this abelia. I think it is just gorgeous right here. It is a lovely green with a cream variegation, like edging on it. It will do little white flowers. We're starting to get the first little flowers in the late summer. But the brightness that it brings to this bed is fantastic. It's going to be wider than it is tall. It is more of a full sun to part sun shrub. It is an evergreen. It looks beautiful here in front of the limelight. There's a peony right here off to the side. That peony is going to die back, right, and be fine. In the spring, it'll be gorgeous. But mucho gusto abelia. Love, love, love this plant. Those two limelights, like I said, doing quite well. A trick for you, because I know if you're like me, it is hot, you're glistening, and it's just, you're tired of sweating, but you still want all the plants. Like, you still want to go to your garden center. You still want to take advantage of great end of season sales, right? Because I know we're having end of season sales. I'd rather get that into your hands than overwinter here at the nursery. So we're trying to get these babies into your hands. Some tricks for you. If your weather is not ready to plant yet, because I'm still holding off on planting some things in the ground because it's just so stinking hot, and I can control them better in a container. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. This is what you do. Let me show you. I got a couple of tricks for you. One, I bought 3 Montana mosses. So there's 1, 2, and then 3. Montana moss is a juniper, I believe, that is a beautiful blue-green, evergreen, low-growing shrub, right? So it's a gorgeous. I bought these as quart size. They weren't even quart size. They were smaller than a quart. I bought them online, and so because they were just so cool, and there was a good deal, so I got 3 of them. Now they were in, like, I want to say like 3.5-inch pots. I'm not going to put that directly in my ground because I just don't trust I need a bigger root system than that. So that's what I did, is put them in the nursery pots. These are actually old pots that we would grow mums in, and we had them just laying around. So I grabbed them and potted them up, just like I did that container that I just showed you. So it's got compost, it's got potting soil, and it's got biotone. And they're just hanging out right here. And they're doing great. They've probably been here for 4 to 6 weeks, and they have more than doubled in size. Like, look at this guy, right? So go ahead and take advantage. Like, for example, with our online plant store, every week we're running different specials. Well, maybe you're not ready to plant them in the ground. Y'all, take advantage of the sale and then put them in a container. There you go. If you go to the garden center and you find a shrub that is in a container, like a 3-gallon, this is a beautiful Haas Halo smooth hydrangea. Sweet friend of mine, Tina, you've heard me talk about Tina before. Tina was out traveling, found the Haas Halo because it is a great smooth hydrangea that is a huge pollinator attractor. She said, Jenny, do you want a Haas Halo? I said, of course. So she grabbed it for me. Now this was in early mid-July that she got it. There is no way in tarnation that I am planting a hydrangea. I have learned from my mistakes. I do not plant hydrangeas in July and August. So what did I do? I trimmed her back a little bit. In the container, what I did is I put down some fertilizer in the container. So I top dressed it with rose tone because hydrangeas love rose tone. Rose tone, land and sea, and then I just put it where I think I'm going to plant it, and I put a saucer underneath it. So I've just watered it, so this way you water the plant, then it fills up the saucer and it retains that water. Y'all, look at the growth. This is where I cut it. All of this is new growth. All of that. Gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful. Again, it was cut right here. All of that is new. And look, yep, we have got buds, my friends. So this baby is very happy. She's got flowers on her, well, buds on her. She's gonna have flowers really soon. Ta-da. Then October, November, I can plop her in the ground and all will be well. Same thing I did with my feather falls. Y'all have heard me talk about this. These were in the urns by the garage. They were outgrown, the urns. I put them in decorative containers that I already had. I've had these things for years, right? They're little plastic pots. I did the exact same thing. Keep them right here. They are happy. And then this fall, I can put them in the ground. If you have plants in the ground that are struggling, maybe you want to do what I did and buy these water bags. I got these off of Amazon, so they're flipped over right now because I knew we were getting rain and I wanted some good water in there. So when it's laying out, it looks like a pool float. So okay. So you lay it out. Here's your little hole. Fill it up, 15 gallons of water, and then it has emitters on the bottom that slowly drip the water out. So it takes like, I think 6 hours, something 4 to 6 hours to put that 15 gallons of water. So that's what it looks like when it is laying out. Y'all, you can see I almost lost this camellia. It's coming back, so we're gonna keep her. So I've got it on all my camellias right through here, and then I even have it on some of my macrophylla hydrangeas back over there. Let's talk about how the chickens are doing. Chickens are doing great. We're gonna talk about this container. She's tired, she's done. The chickens are doing wonderful. The French drain is working great. Look how nice and dry it is in here. I would never have showed you what it looked like before we fixed it, but y'all, it is dry. The girls are happy. They've got a cantaloupe over there. They've got their water. You can see them over there. They're taking their afternoon siesta underneath there, but nice and dry. My daddy has a like a sawmill and a wood chipper. So Mimi and I came through and gathered up a ton of wood chips, right? So wood chips, put that down, and they have absolutely loved it. They are some happy, happy girls over there, as you can see. I say, oh, somebody's taking a dust bath. I say a quiet chicken is a happy chicken. So the French drain is working quite well. And then right before Debbie came, my rain barrel came. So Andrew and Jerry put a gutter just on this side of the chicken coop. We don't have one on that side. We don't need it because it just goes downhill. But the rain barrel came literally like 5 o'clock the day before Debbie hit. So we didn't have time to hook it up yet. So what I did is I took the hose link and stuck it up there so I could have some water, and water shooting out, so I knew kind of where to position the rain barrel so that it would catch the water. It worked great. This is a 50-gallon rain barrel, and y'all, it is it's close to being full. So we will actually probably go ahead and drain it. I'll hook up a hose, send it out, and drain it, water plants if I need to, so forth. And then Andrew's gonna come back for me and put the cap on it, and then bring it down and hook it up so that it dumps directly in there. I got it from the Rain Barrel Depot, just online, because nobody locally had rain barrels. And so I got the 50-gallon, and it has a flat back. So the idea is that we're gonna put it up against this wall, probably build a little stand for it out of some block, let it sit on that stand, and then he can work the gutter so that it goes right there. In the meantime, what I did too is I put my little trug. So I have this black trug right here because I knew that if water was shooting off, it would hit the rain barrel. But if it was just dribbling, then it wouldn't. So I put the trug here, and y'all, it filled this thing slap up. We have got a ton of water coming off of this roof. It is insane. So the girls are happy, they're dry, this is working, we're taking it. So I know it looks a little funky right now, but it is working. Everybody else in here is doing great. My Blue Fortune, the Agastaki is doing great. The Dream Girl Phlox, this is gonna be a new one from Walter's Gardens, doing really well. You can see my Echinacea. I had to put the Echinacea under the cloaks. And then Double Play Dolly, fun spirea, and she has been loving all of this rain. We got 3 of them. So fun. You got some little blooms on it, so we're very happy about that. And then Lemon Squeeze. So remember, we planted 3 Lemon Squeeze under here. They too are doing well. The bunnies were munching on these guys as well. So you can see probably right here. Can you see how this grass is short right here? On this edge, it's not nice and long and flowy. Yep, that's because the bunnies are coming in here and munching on them. And then the hydrangeas. So we've got 2 pufferfish. This was an older one They were all pufferfish, and these two died, so then I replaced it. So we're a little lopsided right now, but this is actually Pinky Winky Prime. So Pinky Winky Prime and this pufferfish are new. They've not even been in the ground, I don't think even a year. I think I planted them in late winter this year. So they've got some catching up to do, but that's fine. They're alive. That's all I care about. Let's just be honest. And then the woodland garden here is doing nicely as well. So everybody is kind of hanging out, doing well. You can see I had bought some more hydrangeas, and so I did the same thing when I bought the Montana moss. I bought these guys, put these in here, and I'm trying to remember now who this is. Let's take a look. All right, I forgot, but that's why you put the tags in the pot, y'all. Invincible Lace. So this is one from Proven Winners. It would be, it's not the same. It would be comparable to the Haas Halo. So again, put them in containers, and y'all, massive growth on these babies. They were literal sticks when I got them. They were rough looking. Again, this is where it was, where I pruned it. And then look at all of this. Now, will they bloom? I don't know. I don't see any buds on them. I don't care. I mean, it's just a bonus if they did bloom, but good growth on them. Very nice and happy. And then there's a third one right back over there as well. So everybody is, I mean, they're doing great. We've gotten so much rain that how could they not be doing well? And this container, this is the container that has the Aquapot Light insert in it. We did that over a year ago. It overwintered, and clearly it is happy, y'all. It's got a euchera in here. It's got a autumn fern. It has got a hosta. Massive growth on this, and it is in a clay, like a glazed pot. So it overwintered just beautifully, doing great as I sit here and glisten more in the sun. So it's been a good day. Oh, let me show you this. Sorry. The Everwillow grass. Look at that. This is a beautiful evergreen carex for your shade. Yes, it's in a little bit of sun right now. It's all right, she's fine. And then Tough Stuff Hydrangea is in the Spanish urn, doing really well. And the rhododendrons, whoo, I had to struggle there for a little bit in the season to keep them enough water, but they're happy, so I am happy. And yeah, we're gonna make it, my friends. If we can just get some, just a couple of days of drier air. It doesn't have to be cooler, but when it's drier, it feels cooler. If you're in the humid areas of the world, then you know exactly what I mean. Just dry air is cool air. I would rather have a 95-degree day with a 50-degree dew point than an 85-degree day with a 75-degree dew point. If you don't know about dew points, do a little research. That's what kills you. Anyway, I'm having a sweating pity party right now, but I am very happy, very pleased with how the garden has grown and developed. I am incredibly grateful for the rain, I know, and the birds. I know that a lot of the parts of the country are not getting rain, and honestly, y'all, August is never this green here in North Carolina because we will go into a drought and have no rain. Typically in August in North Carolina, it starts to turn brown, right? And we are so incredibly lush right now from all of the rain. We got 7 inches from Debbie, didn't do any flooding, but it has been raining consistently for a month now. And so the plants are showing it, and I'm not having to be out here killing myself doing the watering. So I guess it's all a trade-off, right? I'll just suck it up, bite my tongue, I won't complain. I will be grateful for the rain and just be quiet about the humidity, right? Drier days are on their way, I know. All right, my friends, y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.